find your voice. How do we do that? Hey guys, Ken Tamplin from Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy. Thank you for joining me. I have made it a life study to try to learn as many styles as I possibly can, both on guitar and in voice. And if there's one thing I've learned is this. There's usually two camps, two categories, right, of people that are looking to try to find their own unique voice. On the one camp, it's either someone that is in a cover band or singing cover songs and they always sound like the artist, or they're trying to emulate the artist that they're singing, right? And or the other side where the person feels like their voice is really bland and monotone and they have no uniqueness or no character, no personality to their voice. So two different camps, and I'm saying that it doesn't branch beyond that, but I want to address each one of them. But I want to talk about this one over here first because it's really important. The more influences that we have, and the more that we can internalize those influences and represent those influences with our own spin or our own unique signature, the bigger our palette is for our ability to sing in different styles, and the more unique we can be because we can do a lot more things with it. Well, I see a lot of people say, man, I don't want to sound like anybody. I want to sound like me. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but if you didn't have an influence, you really wouldn't have a leg to stand on because you don't really have any roots that's going to give you any other cool places to go. In fact, if you go to Rock Hall of Fame, there's this really cool kiosk there, and you can walk up to it and you can press, who is Mariah Carey or who is Christina Aguilera's greatest vocal influences, and you put on Christina and it goes, Etta James, and then who is Etta James, big influence, and it goes, Mahalia Jackson or whomever it is, and you get to see this food chain of what their influences are. So we all have influences. All of us. And it's not that we're trying to copy anyone. In fact, it's the total sum of those influences that's what makes us great. So let's take this from a guitar's perspective. So I play guitar, and I've been playing since I was 6 years old. And, I used to love Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton and Al Dimeola and John McLaughlin and Carlos Santana and Aerosmith and Zeppelin and all these bands. And I would, Dixie Dregs, Steve Morris, and then later on, other great players like, Lukather, Paul Gilbert, like fabulous guitar players. And I would try to learn their stuff note for note, and I try to sound just like them, right? But when I found myself going to play my own guitar solos, initially, yes, I sounded like them, and I was kind of a copycat, and that was true for vocals too. As you may know, my cousin is Sammy Hagar. When I was young, when I found that out, I'm like, cool, I can't drive 55. I wanted to sound like Sammy, right? I was an idol. I looked up to him, or David Coverdale, or Lou Gramm, or Paul Rogers, or Mickey Thomas, or other influences, or Aretha Franklin on the soul side, and some of those guys. So what I found is that I could take these influences and put them in my toolbox, and the more things I had in my toolbox, the bigger my palette was, and the more I could represent, internalize it and represent this art in different ways that I could never have done if I just wanted to sound just like me and no one else. Now, I'm not looking to sound like anybody else, but it's these influences that makes us great. Without them, think about soccer. If you're a soccer player and I'm going to play just like me, but you didn't get the Saviona and the this and the that and the Messi and all these different guys' moves that you see them do, well, you take a little from this, you take a little from that, and then eventually it becomes your own identity, and then you represent this identity in your own way and tell your own story of who you are, and what and the coolest thing is the collage of all those things and how they come together and how you represent that. So I want to give you a couple samples here. So I'm going to do a little video clip of me singing in different styles so you can see the influence. I still sound like me, but I also take on the persona of the artists themselves, and then but I don't forfeit or sacrifice my personality or identity, but I feel like I captured the spirit and the nature of their music. So check this out.
Said I love you more than you'll ever know, or more than you'll ever know. Good morning, Mr. Sunshine, you brighten up my day. Low rider drives a little slower. Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. If we can't go on to survive the tide, love divine. Sing with me, sing for the years, sing for the land and sing for the cheers. They talk of days for which they sit and wait, all will be revealed.
Okay, cool. So now you see, well, gee, Ken, that's great that you have all this experience and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I don't have that kind of experience. And, you know, can you give me another example? Let's say I'm a girl and I got your guy thing or whatever. Okay, cool. Let's take one of my students. We're going to talk about Gabriela Gunčíková, who came to me and I pushed her to sing a lot of different styles. So we're just going to do a quick montage of a few clips of one of my students singing in different styles. Check this out.
Did you go when things went wrong, baby? Asking to stay long enough for the clouds to fly me away. For making wishes in a dark can be sure when they've hit their mark. And besides, in the meantime, it's not in the way you look, all the things that you say that you do. All my life, easy, oh, just waste of time. Can you lay up with yourself and you think of what you've left behind? Jungle, welcome to the jungle. What should bring it to you? Knees down in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring it to you. It's gonna bring you down. Ha!
Okay, I think it's pretty obvious that it's not one-dimensional. And when you see or hear Gabriela, or you see or hear me, or some of my other students, they still sound like themselves, of course. But their toolbox or their arsenal of licks and things that they have now for increasing their palette with different styles, and yes, emulating those styles to the point where you nail it and at least get to the bar of where that artist was, and then you, again, bring it into your own, internalize it, and represent it. To me, this is how you find your voice. Thank you for joining me.
Thunderstruck! Thunderstruck!